Hey, um, just stepping outside for a second right before I go walk the dog. But I wanted to show you guys something. I was looking through my documents in the back room and I just so happened to stumble across something that I received. And it's one of those things where you look at something and you're like, you have a realization, you have a eureka moment. And, I was all giddy about being an author, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm an author, hey. Like I was super geeked, right? And then I had a realization. That realization is that, what I was looking at, it was a realization of like my biggest fear, that everybody was right, and that, being an author, just being an author wasn't enough to support myself. And I'm not gonna lie, I was really hurt and I was really disappointed. And I was really like shocked that it would be so bad. But I want to show you a couple checks that I got from my publishing house. And I kind of can relate, not even kind of, I can relate to when Lisa Nichols was like, the book sales did not pay the bills because you only get a certain amount, right? So I'm about to show you the checks that I got for my book that is totally in alignment with what Lisa Nichols said. So these checks right here, and it doesn't even matter that they're old checks. I don't actually do anything with that or whatever, but this one is for 91 cents. Okay, 91 cents, and this other one is for $1.44. Okay, $1.44. Now mind you, I'm just like, okay, that is not gonna pay anybody's bills, and I never even signed them. I never even took them to the bank. And I think my biggest thing was, you know what, I'm just gonna keep it as a keepsake, just to tell people, hey, I actually got a check from a publisher. But when you think about how much they actually keep, hey Naya, when you think about how much they actually keep as far as your book sales and stuff like that, it's kind of like heartbreaking that when you publish a book, they keep like over 75% of it, and you only get maybe like 50 cents per book or whatever. And I remember writing this note. I don't even know if you can see it. This note, I wrote a note on the back of this check, and this check is literally for 91 cents. I don't know if you can see that. 91 cents. And on the back of the check, I said, my next check from Trafford will be $900. I'm looking forward to depositing that in the bank. And, I was hopeful. The really weird thing, and this is crazy. So when I started speaking, and I started speaking to writers and things like that, I learned how to speak from the stage via Lisa Nichols. And I had wrote this note on the back of the check, and I'd forgotten about it completely. I went to go speak on the stage, and I had this course for Facebook that I was selling for $2.97, and I sold 3 of those courses while I was sleeping, after having gone to that event, walking away with nothing, thinking, man, maybe I'm not a good speaker, this or that or whatever. And then like literally I made $900 from speaking from the stage. Now, obviously that wasn't from Trafford, but it was just like, wow, I had written on this check that I was going to get $900 from Trafford, but really I didn't get it from Trafford, but it was $900, y'all. And the only reason it didn't round out to $900 was because, when you go through Stripe takes their cut, and then Uncle Sam takes his cut, right? But, if it wasn't for the taxes and for like the 2.9% that Stripe takes, it would have been $900. Now, I'm looking at this, and I just so happen to be looking at it because we're moving, and I was like, okay, let me clean out all these papers or whatever. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I didn't even really think of it. It had never crossed my mind after I had written it. And sure enough, when the first time I went to go speak to authors, like to speak from the stage to authors, I made $900 from the stage. And I never really thought about that. I just made the connection now, and I'm feeling really like proud of myself, and also just really grateful. But I just want to put this out there that, you know, if you're an author and you think you finna make a bunch of money off of the book, I say this with as much love as possible. The money does not come from the book. The money comes from speaking on the stage. The money comes from making products and services that you can sell from the stage, whether that be digital products, whether that be in-person products. It comes from having products to sell from the stage, and it comes from having a funnel to take people down so that they have another way to interact with you after you get off the stage. And I still didn't make that connection because I went to another event. I went to an author's fair, a writer's fair, and I spoke from the stage, and I did such a good job. I had a guest speaker and I only had 20 minutes. I was supposed to have longer, but they only gave me 20 minutes. They're trying to throw some salt in the game, you know. And I was supposed to have more than 20 minutes, but I had to get, you guys know who the Double Rainbow guy is? Go look up on YouTube the Double Rainbow guy. I met him in the grocery store. I was grocery shopping with my husband and my son, and I met him in the grocery store, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I don't know what made me think to ask him to come speak at this event with me. But I was like, oh my gosh, you should come and speak at this event because I'm going to be telling authors, you know, that they should be using social media to, you know, build an online presence, and that will help them to build their audience. So he agreed. And I was like, oh my gosh, like he agreed. And he showed up at the event. And I only had that 20 minutes, but that 20 minutes that I was talking, he talked for about 5, and I talked for about 15. Kid you not, my friend Elaine was there with me, and she just so happened to be sitting at the table where I was sitting at. And what ended up happening was right after I was done talking, after I was done speaking, I was like, yep, you know, you guys, if you would like to know more information or know about what I'm doing, go ahead and head over to the table with the flowers, because I always bring flowers and I put them on the table whenever I go to events, because that's just another way to set yourself apart. A lot of people don't do that. So I had flowers and a candle. And I kid you not, like 15 people beelined over to my poor friend Elaine, who was not prepared to help them at all. She turned beet red. I had never seen her that shade of red. And she like kind of sinks in, and she's like, oh my God. Like, and I didn't expect that, and I didn't have any way to continue with them. And I felt so silly because I was just like, dang, I could have sold them a workshop. I could have, there was a whole bunch of things that I could have offered, but I just didn't know any better. And I was a new speaker, and I was a new author, and I only been an author for like a couple years. And so I learned my lesson from experiencing the pain of walking away with nothing. And so that is why I created the mentorship program that can help you to really get there. And I think that after that experience and a couple others, I finally got a clue. And when I did get a clue, it was that $900, and I literally had written on the back of this check that I was going to get $900, and I had no idea that was how I was going to get it. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, you know, that if you speak things into existence, that's great, but you can also write things into existence as well. I wrote this on the back of the check, and as a result of me publishing my book through Trafford Publishing, and speaking on the stage, I made $900. So that was the first time I'd ever made money from the stage, and I just wanted to share that with you because I think, you know, some of you are starting your speaking careers, and some of you are thinking about being authors, or you're already an author, or, you know, that whole thing. Don't give up hope. And the best thing that I can tell you is to get with somebody that knows the road ahead, because there's a lot of mistakes and traps that you could step into that you just don't want to step into. I ended up wasting a lot of money on things that I didn't need, a lot of time on things that weren't worth the time. So stay tuned for the information and the details on that. I haven't launched it yet, but I will be launching that, and I'll give you all the details. The website for it is being built out and everything, and I'm super excited because I know the road ahead. I feel like doing the Running Man. Oh. Anyway, I gotta walk the dog. And I also have to feed the child. So I've got to go. But much love to you guys, and stay tuned for more stories, because I got a lot of them, and I look forward to sharing those with you. And I look forward to telling you more about the mentorship program, because I know it's going to help a lot of you guys. I mean, I've run the gauntlet, and I'm ready to reach back and help some people. So stay tuned for that, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow. All right, big kiss. That was loud. Have a good night.